I thought my induction was going to take days. Like I thought we would be there for like 3-4 days, no nonstop, like only the last day and a half being the aftermath of the birth of our child. But in reality, it was only about 22 hours from the time we walked into the hospital to the time I was holding my little baby in my arms. So my due date was July 29th, and we had an induction scheduled for July 24th, which was because we needed to schedule the induction medically because, there was like a medical reason for the induction, which was that I had some medications that would have interfered with my little baby once he was born. So I had to stop the medication several days before going into my induction. So that's why it had to be scheduled. So we called before going to the hospital, mostly because I had heard that sometimes the hospital fills up with like people going into labor spontaneously. So even though you have your labor scheduled, it doesn't guarantee you a bed. So we called, and lo and behold, there were no beds. But they did say that they were kind of about to have a bed available, so to call in about an hour or an hour and a half. So I called a couple hours later, and they had a bed ready. So we ended up getting there around 7 p.m. as opposed to I think 4 p.m. was like the actual scheduled time, so it was like several hours later that we were able to get in. We got in, they put a catheter in me. I was very careful to drink a lot of fluids before going in because I have notoriously terrible veins, but this time they were able to get it first try, so I felt like what I did was not for nothing. And they got that in, and they just told me that they were going to do a Foley balloon and misoprostol. But after they inserted the Foley balloon, they left and they said they were going to go get the misoprostol because they had to order it from the pharmacy. But by the time they got it, they came back in and told me that I was already having some strong contractions on my own, so they felt like it was not necessary to give me the misoprostol, which I thought was great because I was already kind of on the fence about being okay with getting induced anyway. So the less they had to do to me in order to get labor to move along, the better, right? And so I kept the Foley balloon in for I think 6 hours. And they came back in, checked it, and it kind of just like fell out. It didn't fall out on its own. It fell out when they like tried to pull it out. And so that meant I was at 3 centimeters dilated, I believe. And they felt that with the contractions I was having, they didn't really feel the need to put me on Pitocin either. So I was like, that's great as well. So they just let me to continued laboring for around 4 hours because they are able to check you up to every 4 hours, like at the shortest. And I kind of was okay with having them check as many times as I was able to because I kind of like was motivated by any sort of progress that I was getting. And at the 4-hour mark, I was at around 5 centimeters dilated. Things were painful, but they weren't like too intense. I had only been using the TENS unit up to this point, so I was like, you turning it on during my contractions and then just having it pulse in between them, and that was perfectly enough to get me through my contractions during that time. And it was so perfectly enough for me that they kind of like doubted that I had made any progress because it looked like I wasn't in pain, but I did make progress. And 4 hours after that, they checked me again, and unfortunately I didn't really make much progress that time. But my husband said he looked it up and that that was normal. So I was a little bit reassured by that. And I had a doula. She was there. She was the one who encouraged me to try the TENS unit. She was the one who was having conversations with me while my husband was sleeping. She was being very supportive. Being like, I highly suggest getting a doula because I don't think I would have been able to do this without her. So after hearing that I had made no progress, I continued laboring. I didn't let it keep me down. And 4 hours later, things were starting to get intense. I felt like they were getting harder to deal with. So they brought in the nitrous oxide, so laughing gas. And at first I felt like it wasn't really like doing anything, but I told her I would like try it out and like keep it with me to see if I ended up liking it. And if it wasn't helping, I would just have them come and take it away. But it did end up helping, not in that it was laughing gas, but in that I was putting my mouth on something that was like slowing down my breathing, kind of like forcefully. And so that was starting to help a little bit. And I was going, and that at that 4 hour mark, they checked, and I was 7 centimeters dilated. I didn't mention the station this whole time. When I got into the hospital, I think we were at -3 station, and then at this point, we were at -1 station. So I think at the 5 centimeters dilated, we were at -2 station, and then now we are at -1. Right? I think we're starting to get intense. Like the 7 centimeter mark was my turning point for pain management. I just had to focus. I had to only focus on my contractions. They were lasting a really long time. I think they lasted longer than the breaks that I got in between. Some of them were overlapping each other, so it was like I would start one contraction and it would start to fade off, but it would start another contraction before that one would fade away. And those were really tough to deal with because it felt like I was in a contraction for like 2 minutes at a time. But at that point, it was around 1.5 minutes usually, and with like a minute in between. And that's like not counting them correctly, because usually you would count it from the start of the contraction to the start of the next contraction, but I'm talking about like 1.5 minutes and then a minute and then a minute and a half, right? So that's just to clear that up. And so I continued to labor. My husband was holding my hand throughout each contraction. I was like squeezing it. Tried not to squeeze him. I don't know why I was focused on this, but I was like trying not to squeeze his hand too hard. Didn't want to hurt him. And my doula was like massaging my back and also using this little mini massager that we had brought with us that ended up being very helpful. Like I already had the kind of like tingly vibration feeling of the TENS unit on my back, but having the vibration of the massager was so highly recommend. And we didn't get to the 4 hours later, right? So what happened is things started to get more intense, and they were overlapping. I was trying to do different positions, but all of them were kind of just like really hard to like deal with the contractions. I was just breathing and sometimes moaning to try to like help with getting through them. It kind of like everything I did was kind of just a distraction from the pain. Like it was not like a thing to take the pain away, which I think I preferred. I think I liked it better that way. It was definitely hard, but it was not impossible. And I think that if you are trying to do an unmedicated birth, you can do it. I promise you, you can do it. And we were 3 hours into from the last cervical check, and I think that is when I started transitioning. So transitioning, if you don't know, is when you kind of go from like 8 or 9 centimeters to 10 centimeters. And it's like the most intense part of your labor. People or women or birthing people who are transitioning tend to get snappier, like they'll snap at you angrily, they'll sometimes go completely silent, sometimes they'll start acting like a wild animal almost. I did all of the above. I'm just kidding. I didn't snap at anyone, but I did just focus on I wasn't talking to anybody. I was just focused on my contractions. I was just saying I think like okay was the only word that came out of my mouth, because people were like trying to help me and like get me to try different positions and different techniques for like getting through it, mostly just different positions. But I would just be like, okay, and then I'd get into it and be like, hold on, and then I started breathing, and then they'd come in and they'd ask me different questions and stuff, and I'd tell them like I feel pressure in my butt, like I feel the need to push, like I feel it, like he's like gonna come out like right now. And at first they told me like, okay, we're gonna get the doctor to check your cervix to make sure you're fully dilated so you can push. And I was like, awesome. Later on, I found out from my husband, because he was able to tell what was happening more than I was. They did not get the doctor at that moment. They were waiting for the 4-hour mark. And it wasn't until I repeated that I felt like I couldn't stop myself from pushing. I repeated that I felt pressure in my butt. I repeated that I was feeling like I needed to push. Like I just was pleading and like trying to advocate for myself. And they finally were like, okay, we're gonna get the doctor. And I think like I went another 10-20 minutes of intense contractions and intense feeling of pushing before they got the doctor. And so they did, and the doctor walked in, and I was in the middle of a contraction, so I was like, hold on. And then I finished the contraction, and I was like, okay, go. And then I just like got into the position, and she was like, okay, is it good for me? And I was like, yeah, it's fine. I just like did not want to waste any time, because I knew there was not much time before my next contraction. 1 second. I think he's fine. Sorry, my baby is sleeping right now. Yeah, so she checked. She's like, hey, you're fully dilated, good to go. You can start pushing. And so I immediately was already on my back from the cervical check. So I was like, okay. And then like they were like, hey, do you know how to push? And I was like, I think so. And then I started pushing. And then they were like, dude, you want to stay on your back? You said in your plan that you wanted to like try different positions. And I was like, this is okay. This is okay. And like I couldn't think about trying to move. I was in so much pain that I couldn't think about moving at all. And eventually, like some more doctors and nurses came in. There was a midwife, and the midwife suggested other positions for me to try. So one of them was on all fours. And so I got on all fours and I tried to push like that. You kind of just like have to like squat down. You're not just literally like a dog, but you're like squatting. I don't know why I'm demonstrating, but yeah, so I tried that next, and then they were like, okay, how about use this squat rack. So they had a squat rack that hooked onto the bed, and then you kind of hold it and you squat down and you push in that direction, in that position, and that helped a lot. And then they were just like trying to get me to move around. I think the act of like moving around helps to get your baby into the right positioning to be like going through the birth canal and all of that. So I was really grateful for them encouraging me to move around. After the squat rack, they had the bed in like a reclined position, so the head was up, and so I was holding the bed and then I would squat in that position as well. There was a lot of squatting involved, and I felt like at first I had the insecurity that I'm sure most people who go into labor have, of like, oh, I don't want to shit myself. I don't want to pee on anyone. I don't want to do anything embarrassing. And it was kind of preventing me from pushing properly, I think. Like I felt like I was holding back. And then I realized that I was holding back. So I stopped caring. I was like, you know what? I care more about getting this baby out of me than I do about being embarrassed. So I did not think I would feel that way in this moment, but I did. And it helped a lot because I was able to push more efficiently. I was kind of consciously and subconsciously, it was like in the middle of my brain, kind of like in between the two, thinking about not pushing too hard because I don't know how, if this is not medical advice, right? I felt like if I pushed too hard and too fast, then I would tear. And I didn't want to tear. Of course, no one wants to tear, right? And so I did that. I like thought about it and I would like push, but not hard, like so hard that it would get me to the point where I feel like I was going to tear. And I would then hold back a little bit, or I'd stop pushing, or like take a breath and stuff. I ended up pushing for 40 minutes and they checked me afterwards. I had my baby in my arms. I was so happy. I was so relieved. I don't think I've ever felt so much relief in my life. And I don't know if I ever will again, because even if I have more kids in the future, I'll have this experience to look back on and I'll know that there is relief at the end and it won't be as intense as the relief that I felt in that moment. But they checked me and I didn't have any tears, so that was great. I was very proud of myself. They were rubbing the heck out of my baby, trying to get all the slime and stuff out. And he was drooling a lot because he had amniotic fluid in his mouth. So they were like using the little bulb to suck that out and everything. And I was just like, oh, he's drooling. They were like, yeah, that's normal. It's just the fluids. And I was like, okay. And then my husband took some pictures. I thought he was so cute. I was like, oh, he's so cute. And he is cute, right? Like, especially right now, a month later, he's so cute. He's the cutest baby in the whole world. But in his first moments, he was a little bit puffy, I think from all the fluids. So he kind of looked a little bit alien-like, which I've always thought was like kind of humorous whenever you would obviously fall in love with your baby and you're like, oh my god, they're the cutest thing in the world, but then like someone else looks at the baby and they're like, that thing looks like an alien. And my husband made fun of me basically for it, and he showed me the pictures afterwards and I was like, oh yeah, he does look kind of like an alien, especially because his skin was a little bit blue, which is normal. But it made him look like less human. But anyway, so we got through it. I pushed my baby out. I was able to like lay there having the skin to skin contact with my little baby during the golden hour. And they only took him away to do all of the initial medical readings and stuff, like his weight and everything, after the golden hour. So that was awesome. They also asked if we wanted to cut the umbilical cord. Neither of us wanted to do that. So we were like, no, thank you. And then they asked if we wanted to see the placenta. And I said no. And of course my husband said no, but I kind of regret it. It's like that thing was in my body and I don't even know what it looks like. And I never will because I already threw it away. Like, I feel like next time if and when we have another child, I'm going to definitely take a look. I'll just take a little peek. I don't want them to show me like all the gory details of it. I heard that you can get like a tour of it and they'll like be like, oh, this is, I don't want all that. I kind of understand the anatomy of the placenta, but I do want to see what it looks like. I want to see what was inside me though. And then we were discharged, I think a day and a half later. So we spent a full day in postpartum, and then the next morning we went home. And now we are here a month later, and my baby is so cute. He's probably the cutest little baby in the whole world. We just celebrated his 1 month birthday yesterday. He is getting really good at tummy time, which I think is like the big thing at the 1 month mark. And yeah, things are great. Some of you who might follow me might already know this story. I don't know if you know all the details that I just gave right now because I was pretty brief about it when I've talked about it before. I used to stream on Twitch, and I think I'm still going to, but I'm going to step away a little bit and try to focus my attention here on YouTube a little bit more. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully I'll have another cool story to tell you guys, or maybe I'll do something a little bit more interesting if you guys have anything you'd like to see, or if I have anything I'd like to show you. And I'll see you next.